So I heard about this article, and of course I had to share. I am really excited about this. So it is all about, it was a research study done in why teachers actually chose to address unplanned, issues in the classroom. So something pops up, a teacher has to make a decision. Do I address it in the moment? Do I ignore it? Do I touch on it later? Like, what do I do? And so these were a group of teachers who have said, I did decide to take action. And so then they're kind of unpacking why. I think that the model that they came up with as a result of the research is really helpful to help coach teachers think through why I reflectively, thinking back on why I did or did not take action on something, like what was the reason? And so this model helps them think through what might have influenced that decision. I love this as just kind of a reflective moment, especially if there's a large current event happening. Ask teachers to think about, did you respond or not? And then have them go through this model and through all of the pieces and even jot some notes around the pieces, share with a partner, share with the team, share with the whole, whatever, or do it in a one-on-one coaching relationship. But I love this model. So let's dive into the model. We're going to screen share and talk about what all the pieces are. Here we go. And now I'm remembering this was totally on a podcast that I heard about this. And this first author was being interviewed. But this is the article. And I want to bring you down to the page where they create their figure. This is the model to understand teachers' justifications for addressing unplanned controversial issues in the classroom. That's what it's named. There are, and you can download the whole thing on ResearchGate, but these are the themes that we see come up in the model and their definitions. So you can kind of look through them. But here is the core. So we have this unplanned controversy, and then we have like the immediacy of the moment. So this is defined as the urgency. Like, what level of urgency is there to address this as a result of how it occurred, when it occurred? Then also core, you can see there's kind of like bolder lines here. The core is past experiences of the teacher. So specific episodes recalled by the teacher that influence whether or not they're going to do something. And then also future orientations. So who is the teacher that they want to be, or who are the students they want to, like, what are the capacities or the skills of the students that they want their students to have, right? Their desired kind of future orientation for self and students. That's the core, right? So we have urgency, past experiences of the teacher, and then future orientation for teacher and student. Now, other things that are maybe not the primary core of the model, but also totally relevant and related, emotions. So you see emotions are in here as well. And of course, all of this is existing in a context, which we'll get to. But emotions are feelings elicited by the issues, either directly or thinking, here's some emotions I'm going to feel if I address it, or here's some emotions I'm going to feel if I don't address it. That was huge for people. Also, personal beliefs. So as a teacher, right, what are my teacher personal beliefs and values? This is my attempt to be my full self at work, right? So that plays a role. Also, professional beliefs. So what are the aims of education? What do I think the purpose of education is? And how does that play a role? Because if I think it is to equip students to have a democratic conversation about national issues, I'm probably going to be more likely to step in here. If I think the education role is to learn politically neutral skills, right, then that might look different. Task perception. Practical implications for addressing the unplanned controversial issue. So task perception, they went into like a bunch of different things around this, but I think that's interesting that like my perception of like what happens if I actually go into this and talk about this, what are the practical implications of taking this on as a task, right? And then the context, of course, like, do we have an open classroom climate already established? So that's the context of the immediate classroom. So how have we built community already? And then also school culture. Perception, just quickly, just naming in the words of the authors themselves kind of what this is. So task perception refers to what teachers believe they're expected to do as teachers, right? So that's a piece. And then specifically, I wanted to show there's examples in here, and I think this one is helpful, right? This teacher is talking about that as an educator, they don't feel like they only have to address the written curriculum, right? That's a task perception. That is what they expect of themselves and what they think is expected of them, right? As a teacher. So I also think it's really interesting that task perception was also coded in connection to professional beliefs, right? So we kind of can see like what are the broader aims of education as being relevant as well. And so I just want to clarify that. I think there are a lot of ways that you can use this model. You could have it be reflective after something happens, but you can also have people think, especially in a one-on-one coaching relationship, I think this works, think proactively about if I were to make a decision about this current event that's happening, right? If I were to address this thing, or let's imagine it's an interpersonal conflict or something, right? And so we have kind of something happening with students that is unexpected, but is generally expected for like student behavior, right? Like when will I jump in and kind of proactively probe some of those ideas or jot some ideas around some of the model pieces? I think that would be really fascinating. Again, one-on-one coaching relationship, maybe that's a better place to do it, but I also think it would be great to just introduce to the staff or model how you have used it, or just share the research article. And then people who are going to like love it and run with it are going to love it and run with it. So I'd love to hear how you're using this. Please let me know.